This is July 4th, and this is my address that I'm giving to the people that will come for the Durand Ecumenical Council service. Well, first of all, thank you for the honor of addressing this gathering of important people, and each one of you is of great importance, each one deserving of dignity and freedom just because you are human. Human life is the greatest work of art that there is. I know people, as they look at the end of life, no matter what the circumstances, they realize how precious human life is. And I wonder, have you ever seen any art anywhere that is more complex than a human being? How about technology? Have you ever seen a machine that was more complex than a human being? Nothing surpasses in this world, for us anyway, the complexity of a human being. I'm always and ever caught up in the wonder of the complexity of nature as a whole. And my church people laugh at me because I have these adventures on the river and hiking. And I learn about plants and I learn about the ecology, and I'm in awe over all of it. It is intricate in ways that we don't even yet understand. Trees manage to communicate with each other across vast distances, and they relay critical information for survival. I don't understand all of that. I only learn pieces, small pieces that fascinate me, that capture me. Humans have emotions and critical thinking, and we also have the ability to form community and support one another. That is a wonder as well. And Durand knows that. Social scientists have not been able to figure out why altruism exists. Altruism is when you act for the benefit of another with no benefit to yourself and perhaps a great cost to yourself. You don't benefit in any way, but the impulse for altruism is real, and it isn't always there, but when it shows up, it's amazing. We say everyone acts selfishly, the survival of the fittest, look out for number one, which is the self, and let the hind end drag. And we do see that in our culture and in politics at times, but not when altruism shows up. We are a mystery, and we are full of wonder. Now, at the very top of human wisdom is a little phrase that might surprise you. It is the little phrase, I don't know. Our greatest power and wisdom itself comes from that little phrase. How could anything new ever be discovered without that little phrase? I don't know. And now we come to politics and politicians. How often do you hear them say, I don't know, when it comes to our common good as a nation? What if we were to set aside black and white certainty for a time and instead say, I don't know? How could respect for the dignity of every human on earth help us? Do you think it might involve at least a little of, I don't know, I'm not certain, or I wonder how I could find that out? I'm reading the book Roots by Alex Haley, which involves the evil of snatching human beings from their own civilized homelands and whipping them into slavery. They go from being a human like you or me, and then suddenly they're property, and they're abused property. It used to be considered a fact that whites were superior to blacks. Even in the 1600s, a law was passed that mixed-race children, often born of rape from the most powerful to the least powerful, that these mixed-race children were slaves forever and could never be citizens here. They're children to every generation as well. Again, to those in charge, this was common sense. It was fact. I'm very grateful to all those who uttered the phrase, I don't know, in the face of this considered racism and prejudice, this considered fact. We no longer think like that. At least most of us don't agree. I'm shocked at the stealing of girls and young women snatched and drugged and put into slavery every day. There are places in the U.S., we're not just talking overseas, where women are kept in slavery. And this horror is hidden. But if you want to know if it's real, just listen to one of the survivors, one who got out and lived to tell the tale and had resilience for that as well. We act like it isn't happening, but it is. And so I'm still dealing with the reality of slavery in this world today. I want to understand how we can change it. And maybe the beginning is, I don't know, let's learn. So Paul the Apostle spoke of the dignity of all people, regardless of differences, regardless of race, creed, color. He said, no longer Jew nor Greek, slave or free, male and female. No longer were there those who were considered in charge and those who weren't. No longer those who were considered of great value and those who weren't. No longer. All are equal in dignity and deserving of freedom and rights, all on level ground before God. For us to truly get there, we might need to see it in our minds, see it as much as we can in the world, to work together for it, and not just grant all the rights to those in power and those with wealth. In order to get there, it might involve the tentative, I don't know, as we explore something new. Perhaps we can dedicate ourselves to the calling of doing our jobs with love and imagination, every profession, every work, and our work in the fabric of the community. We can continue on the adventure as long as we find new challenges. We welcome, invite, and teach one another. Difficulties and setbacks simply contribute to our I don't know comment and our curiosity. We have witnessed tyrants in leadership, drunk on certainty as they drain the world of its essential inspiration. They shout slogans. They are certain. They know. And if we listen to those we name as other, if we are open to the concept of I don't know, we will certainly learn new things and experience the new through the eyes and lives of others strange to us. Did you know that almost all problems with addiction stem from the need to belong? What if we belong to one another in new ways that we haven't considered before? I want to close with some surprising quotes by patriots about our country on this July 4th. James Baldwin said, I love America more than any other country in this world, and exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually. Another leader said, patriotism is when the love of your country comes first. Nationalism is when hate for other people, other than your own, comes first. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, true patriotism springs from a belief in the dignity of the individual, freedom and equality, not only for Americans, but for all people on earth. And one last quote. I say to you that our goal is freedom, and I believe we are going to get there, because however much she stray away from it, the goal of America is freedom. That's Martin Luther King Jr. What does it take for people to be free, to be who they are, who they need to be, who they are in the fabric of community and belonging? We can love our country while we work for the good of all, not just those in power, not just those with wealth. I don't know is an excellent beginning phrase. Listening to those unlike the ones in power is also an excellent beginning. Thank you.